Bryan Van Gorp,
Okay.
Yucatan Township, Houston County, next door neighbor to a silica sand mine.
The mine is up there, the borrow pit. And, okay, so tell me what we're seeing then.
Well, what we're seeing, of course, is illegal mining activity, and it's illegal for many reasons. The original permit was obtained under false testimony. It was said that they would not cut into the bank, that there would not be any erosion, and that the mine was not visible from the highway, all of which, of course, are false. When the CUP was initially issued, it was issued as a one-time use to be reviewed before renewal, and it was never reviewed. Then the first permit violation occurred when bridge debris was buried at the mine site without a permit to do so. That was when Thorson owned it. And since then, there's been 5 other permit violations. The one being that there's an encroachment on Rosemary Iverson's property and Corey Baker's property. Mining activity and the road for the mining is within 50 feet of their boundaries. The second one being that there was illegal boreholes dug to assess what's in the sand deposit, and we don't know how deep these wells were, but there was a drill rig there for several days, so they weren't post holes, as Bob Scanlon would say. And another permit violation is the fact that there's erosion onto Rosemary Iverson's property. Another permit violation is one of the 2 conditions put on the original permit violation, that he was not to cut the trees that were the screen to the highway. Well, I'll tell you what I saw personally. I was working on my own property, and I heard the sound of trees crashing down like you would hear when a chainsaw cut down a tree. And I didn't think too much of it at first. I thought somebody was just cutting some firewood or something. Well, I heard several of these crashes over, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes, and it just repeated crash, crash. And so I thought, that's really weird. I wonder what's going on. So I got in my car and drove over there, and what do I see? A huge track hoe raking down these trees along the highway. And I don't know how many trees were taken down, but it was not 2 or 3, I can assure you of that. I sat on the highway and watched for about 10 minutes, and it was just, you know, smashing down these trees. I reported all this, of course, to the Houston County Planning and Zoning Commission, and they said that there was no such thing occurred and there was no permit violation. Another permit violation is that he broke the moratorium. There was a moratorium on silica sand mining, which he violated. I called in the violation, so there's a record of that. A stop work order was issued on top of the moratorium after that. Another permit violation is that he mined frac sand, silica sand, without a permit to do so, and that was validated by Judge Walters in Wabasha in a court hearing. Let me think if I got all the permit violations here. There's 6 of them. I don't know if that's 6 or not, but at any rate, right now he's mining illegally again, and the reason for that is because the permit that he currently is operating under was passed on the condition that he comply with all state and federal regulations. And the state of Minnesota has sent out a letter to him saying that he cannot mine until he gets a trout stream setback permit, which he has not obtained, and he's within a quarter mile or so of a trout stream, and it's a 1 mile is the limit. You have to be at least 1 mile away to not get this trout stream setback. So he's mining illegally again. I have called it into the sheriff. They're apparently doing nothing because the mining is continuing. So we have pursued every available means, talking to the Zoning Commission, Planning Commission, talking to the Planning and Zoning Director, talking to the Environmental Services Director, talking to each of the commissioners on numerous occasions. There's no actions we can take except make the public aware of this and hope that the public will vote these incompetent commissioners out of office, and when we get some new commissioners, that they'll appoint some new people into these positions as zoning director and so on that might possibly do the right thing and have some care for what the public thinks.